Previously on Game Gengo.
この星が死のうとしている。感触さえ消えてしまうのだ。ふざけるな
Hello everyone and welcome to Game Gengo, the video series where we learn Japanese through video games. In this episode, episode 14, we're going to be going through Final Fantasy VII Remake. And so just after Cloud has met Sephiroth for the first time in his mind, we're now going to be making our way through to the station and bump into a familiar face. So in this episode, we're going to be covering 50 new words and also touching on a few interesting grammar points likeしなくていい or しておく. So let's get into the video.
幻覚か。魔法に近づきすぎたな。さあ、行くぞ。
裏通りから行きゃよかった。
予想以上か。
駅がダメだなとまさか。
お前には誰も守れない。自分さえもな。
大丈夫？大丈夫？
ああ。
お花どうぞ。
花？
お礼追い払って助けてくれた。
何の話だ？
じゃあ出会いを記念して。
面倒だな。
聞こえてますけど。
いくらだ？
値段は相手見て決めるの。あなたはただでいいや。
え？
花言葉は再会。
警告しておこう。俺は強いぞ。
そんな感じするよ。
脅しには屈しない。
ああ、怖いお兄さん、脅しに来るとか警戒してる？ないない、そういう心配しなくていいから。
魔航路が爆発したんだ。あんたも今夜は店じまいして。
助けて。
武器を捨てろ。
見えてないのか？
やっぱり一回解散。
おい！
またね。
兵を地面に置け。ゆっくり。
幻覚か。魔法に近づきすぎたな。さあ、行くぞ。
Okay, so starting off this episode, we have Cloud kind of going, what the hell just happened with, Sephiroth and the memories and the freaking out, and now he's coming back to reality, and he's like, whew, I guess it was just a hallucination. Genkaku ka. So Genkaku here is hallucination or an illusion. And then he says, Mako ni chikatsuki sugita na. So Mako, the Mako, Mako ni, to the Mako, and then chikatsuki, to get close, sugita, too much, na. So kind of, ne, he's kind of reaffirming what he's saying to himself. So he's like, I guess I got too close. Now in the English translation he says, I'm seeing things, fumes from all the Mako maybe. Now this is probably a much more natural way of saying it. We don't usually say in English, a hallucination. It's a little bit strange. So I guess I'm seeing things. It's a much more natural way of talking. So, great job.
お前には誰も守れない。
Okay, so next we have this image of Sephiroth still haunting Cloud, and he says that you can't protect anyone. So, omae ni wa daremo mamorenai. So as for you, omae ni wa, regarding you, daremo, so this can be everyone, anyone, or no one, depending on the context it's used. Here, it's with a negative verb, mamorenai, which means that it should be either no one, or you can't protect anyone, or you can protect no one, that kind of use. So, daremo mamorenai, you can't protect anyone. Now, in the English version, he says, you are too weak to save anyone. Now that weak part isn't here, however, the message is there. He's taunting Cloud, he's saying he's weak, he's saying he can't protect.
自分さえもな。
Not even yourself. Jibun saemo na. So this is really interesting. So he's saying that you can't protect anyone, not even yourself. Now this is clearly Cloud, his brain is kind of having a freak out, right? It's not actually Sephiroth is there. So here he sees a girl in trouble and he's kind of having these repressed, I can't protect anyone type feelings. That's what's happening right now. Very interesting, really nice scene, really interesting scene. So the language, jibun means yourself, sae means even, and mo is also. So even yourself, jibun sae mo, and then na, again just that masculine ne to say, right?
大丈夫？お花、どうぞ。
Oh, and here we have the appearance for the first time of Aerith. So very, very cute. A little, are you okay? And then so she says, Ohana dozo, a flower, here you are. Now in the game translation, they said here, this is for you. That is really just what dozo is saying. So when you want to give someone something, you can say, dozo, you give someone. Or you can open a door for someone and say, dozo. It's kind of the, here you are, here, right? It's a very useful, common phrase to say, kind of, here you are, dozo. So very useful, that dozo. And then o hana. So o is actually honorific. She's using honorific, so she's kind of being polite to Cloud. And then hana is for flower. So it's like she's kind of talking to him like a customer.
Hana?
お礼。
And then again she says, ore. So is like yes, and then ore. So o again is that honorific, and then re is kind of a thanks or a gift. So in a way, it's kind of like she's giving it as a gift of thanks, right? It's kind of the combined meaning of both thanks and gift. And so in the English translation, they decided to say it's a gift, which is, yeah, exactly what she's doing. She's giving him a gift, a flower, to say thanks.
追い払って助けてくれた。
For scaring away those things and saving me. For me. So if we have a look, oi harao, oi haratte. Oi harao means to scare off. Oi is to chase, and then harao is to kind of pay off, but it could also mean to kind of get rid of. So oi harao, to chase off, and then tasukete, to save, kureta. So kureta, kureru means to do for me, something to do for me. So for me, you scared them off and saved me. Right? That's what she's saying. So that's the literal translation. In the game, she says, for scaring those things away.
何の話だ?
What are you talking about? 何の話だ? So, 何の means what kind, what sort. And then hanashi here could mean a story. It could mean a talk. It could mean a conversation, a subject, or a kind of, circumstance. Here, it's really just like, what are you talking about? It kind of seems a little bit more like it's the subject that he's talking about, but it's quite common to say 何の話? what kind of story, or just what are you talking about? And so I've decided to translate this as kind of a what are you talking about, because it's often used in that situation, like I don't understand the story you're saying. I don't understand what you're saying. Nan no hanashi. Now in the game translation it just says what things, right? What ghosts, what things did he scare off? He doesn't understand. He doesn't know, because he can't see them.
じゃあ出会いを記念して
And so instead of explaining, Aerith just decides to say, well, how about as a memento of us meeting? Ja, well, deai, that is the noun for meeting. Deao, to meet. Deai, the noun, meeting. Deai o kinen shite. So kinen suru, kinen, that means to be a commemoration, to make something as a memory, a celebration. Anniversary is kinen bi, bi meaning he. So a celebration day, that's an anniversary, kinenbi. And here it's kinen shite, so that means she's doing the memorization of something. What is she turning into memory? It's the deai. So deai o kinen shite. So she's saying, then how about as a memory of us meeting? Now in the English translation they say, never mind, think of it as a memento. So yeah, what is the memento about? We don't know, but it's pretty obvious. It's kind of about them, you know, meeting or this moment right now.
聞こえてますけど
Okay, so Aerith goes to give the flower to Cloud, and you have two options. You can either say ikura da, or you can say iranai. Now, ikura is a really common way of saying how much. This da, it's kind of the anime kind of rude way of making it a question. We've seen that a lot of times. It's not normal to use da as a question. It's quite rude, actually. So maybe a more polite way would say ikura desu ka. That would be a little bit more polite way of saying how much. And then we have iranai. Now, iranai is much more useful. This means that you do not need something. The polite way would be irimasen, and it means you don't need something. So for example, if you're at a convenience store, and this happens to me daily, if you get asked for a plastic bag and you just say, iranai desu, daijoubu desu, or irimasen, daijoubu desu, something like that, that means you don't need it. So I don't need it, iranai. Now, in the English translation, they decided to say I'm good, which is pretty much the same thing. You don't usually say, I don't need it. It sounds a little bit robotic. So in English, you would just say, no, I'm good. I don't need it. So, you know, it's pretty good translation there.
いくらだ
値段は相手見て決めるの
Next, Aerith says that she decides the price after seeing the aite, the company, the person that she's with. So, nedan, that's the price. Nedan wa aite. Now, this is an interesting sentence. This is kind of the first sentence we've seen where particles are just being dropped. This happens really commonly in Japanese, where there should be a particle there, but in Japanese people just drop it all the time. So here it would actually be nedan wa aite o miru rather than aite mite. It would be aite o mite. So it happens a lot. Sometimes you could drop almost every single one of the particles in a sentence and you'd still understand based on the context, which is why Japanese is difficult to translate. So aite here means a company, your companion, partner, or just the other party, right? So it could be the customer, it could be the other person she's talking to. That's what the aite is. Mite, miru, kimeru is to decide, and then no is just the feminine emphatic particle at the end there. So in the game translation, she says, well, that depends on the customer. And then the literal translation is just, I decide the price after seeing who I'm with, or the company, or the aite.
あなたはただでいいや
As for you, free is okay. So this is a little bit unnatural sentence for English, and so the translator has decided in your case, it's on the house. Let's look at the literal. As for you, anata wa. Anata is you, wa is as for you, right? So it's the topic particle. Tada de. So tada is muryo. It means free, tada. And then de kind of means by something. So she's saying by being free, as it's free, that's okay. Iya. So E is good, and then this ya is an interesting piece of grammar that I've given some Japanese and explanations here, because actually if you look up this word in an English dictionary, it'll be very difficult, if not impossible, to find the actual explanation. So here we have karuku I hanasu yo na kimochi o arawasu. So the Japanese explanation here is saying to kind of just let off something lightly, just say something lightly. It's actually quite direct if you just say taradei. It's like, whoa, okay. It's a little bit too direct and strong. Tada de iya is kind of like, you're just like shrugging it off. Yeah, 3 is okay. Now, one of the examples here in Japanese, もうどうでもいいや. This is a really good example because it shows if you said to someone, もうどうでもいい, it sounds really like you're kind of angry, right? もうどうでもいい. But if you say, もうどうでもいいや, it's kind of like you're giving up. You're like, come on, I don't care. So this ya makes it a little bit softer rather than just finishing it there. So she's saying, it's okay, it's free. ただでいいや.
花言葉は再会。
This is the first part where the script really changes. She says, 花言葉は再会. Now, 花言葉, this means kind of the language of flowers, the symbolism in flowers. 再会 means reunion, okay? In the English translation, though, they've said lovers used to give these when they were reunited. What is she talking about? As far as I know, I haven't finished the game, but they're not lovers. So why is she flirting with him right now? Lovers used to give these when they're reunited. Well, then why the hell are you giving it to me? I'm not sure why the English translators decided to go down this road. She's just saying that the symbolism for flowers is reuniting. That is interesting. That is what's going on, right? That makes me go, wait, is this the game I think it is? What's going on, right? This is interesting. So I don't understand the love interest bit part. So I actually really prefer the Japanese here. It's quite interesting, whereas the kind of English is like, what?
警告しておこう。俺は強いぞ。
And Cloud says, I warn you in advance, I'm strong. It's a little bit of a weird thing to say. It's like he's almost threatening her. In English, he says, look, I'm involved in things. Dangerous things. I actually really like that. That sounds like a much more natural thing to say. It's kind of a weird thing to say when the pretty girl approaches you giving you a flower and you say, I warn you in advance, I'm strong. A little bit strange. So keikoku is warning. Shite oku means to do something in advance. So he's warning her in advance. Keikoku shite oku. And oko means I will or let's, like, hey, I'm going to warn you in advance. Ore wa, I am, tsuyoi zo, strong. So he's saying I'm strong. Kind of sounds like he's being quite defensive. In English, I actually prefer he's talking about, hey, look, you don't want to mess with me. I'm involved in all kinds of dangerous stuff. That sounds much more natural. However, maybe the Japanese is trying to make him sound more defensive. Let's have a look.
そんな感じするよ。
Yeah, I get that feeling or that impression. そんな感じするよ. Very cute. So, yes, そんな感じ is that kind of feeling or that kind of impression. そんな, that kind, kanji, feeling or impression. するよ, which means I do. And so she's saying that she gets that impression that he's strong. Now, the game translation, she says, oh, I'm sure you are. So, this is interesting because she's talking about how he's involved in dangerous things and she doesn't care. And that is also coming across here in the Japanese where she's saying, yeah, I get that you're strong. So she's not afraid. Like, look at her. She's totally fine that this dangerous, scary guy is here. She's got no problem. So that's showing that she has dealt with this kind of stuff in the past. So this is really interesting.
脅しには屈しない。
I don't give in to threats. Okay, we were right. Cloud is definitely being super defensive. So this is very strange. A pretty girl comes up to you and you're like, I don't give in to threats. What? She's not threatening you, man. She's just a pretty girl trying to give you a flower. But odoshi is threat. And then odoshi ni wa, so as for threats, kushinai. I do not give in to. So kusuru means to give into something, to bend the knee, and to kind of, yield to something. So he says, I don't give in to threats. When did she threaten him? I'm not sure. So this is actually a little bit strange in the Japanese. I think they're really trying to show that he's damaged and that he's super, defensive. But in the English, he's actually being more considerate of her, that he's a dangerous guy, and so he says, keep your distance. So it's interesting, they're taking two kind of different stances. In the Japanese, he's more damaged, and in the English, he's more being considerate while still being kind of pretending to not care.
ああ、怖いお兄さん、脅しに来るとか警戒してる？
Are you being on guard for something like a scary older brother to come threaten you? So here, Aerith doesn't get what's going on. Why are you being so defensive? So here, kowai o-nisan. Kowai means scary. O-nisan is like an older brother, but it could also just be some other guy. So maybe she's just saying you afraid some other guy is going to come. Odoshi ni kuru. So odoshi is to threat. Ni kuru means to come to do. So odoshi ni kuru means a guy's gonna come threaten, right? Odoshi ni kuru toka. Toka is like something like. So what? Something like a guy's gonna come and threaten you. Keikai shiteru. So keikai means to be kind of in a kind of protective, cautious mood. We've seen this word previously. Shiteru. So she's asking you, is that why you're being careful? Because you're worried some guy's gonna appear and threaten you? Now, in the game translation, he says, wait, you think someone's out to get you? Is that what you're all worked up about? So they're getting on the same topics here. Aerith doesn't understand why he's being so defensive, whether the English or the Japanese version.
Nai.
Nai. I really like this because not only does this show the language, nai, meaning no way, no chance, but it also shows a little bit of body language in Japanese, how this is actually no, right? Nai. It means no way. Whereas in English, it's kind of more, nah, no way, or no way. That's a little bit more of a natural way. But here it's nai, no way. So it's quite cute. But that means no way, doesn't exist. She's saying no. And now in English, relax.
そういう心配しなくていいから。
You don't have to worry like that. そういう心配しなくていいから. So そういう like that 心配. So worry like that. そういう心配しなくていい. You don't have to do から because. So she's explaining that it's okay. You don't have to worry like that. Now, in the English translation, she said, no one's going to attack you, I promise. So it's really clear now that, yes, she's trying to say, look, like, no one's going to come out of the shadows and attack you. Like, I'm not trying to trap you or anything. I just want to give you a flower, man.
あんたも今夜は店じまいして。
You should also close up shop for the night. So, あなたも今夜は店じまいして. So, あなたも you as well. 今夜 means this night. Ima, the kon, means now, and ya, yoru, means the night. So konya, this night, tonight. Mise jimai. This means closing up shop, like where you have the roller doors, and you close up shop for the night, not out of business, just closing up shop for the night. That's mise jimai. Now it's actually mise shimao, to close, but again we see these two words connected, and the shi turns into a ji, mise jimai. And then shite means do. So he's saying you should really close up shop. It's kind of dangerous around here. Now in the English version, he says you shouldn't be out here trying to sell and then all of a sudden Aerith kind of freaks out. So Cloud protects her from the crazy ghost things that we don't quite know what's going on, and suddenly these soldiers appear and they say, Buki o stero, drop your weapon. So buki is weapon. Now this is a really common word in RPG games. If you go through the sorbi, the inventory, your equipment, and then you see buki, that means your weapon. So whether it's swords or guns or whatever, it's the category for weapons, buki. And then steru means to discard, to throw away. So he's saying to kind of discard your weapon, right? Throw away your weapon, drop your weapon. But the word doesn't actually mean drop, it just means throw away. So buki o stero, drop your weapon.
見えてないのか。
やっぱり一回解散。
This is nice. And so now Aerith says, actually, after all, I think it's time we should split up. Yappari ikai kaisan. So yappari means after all, or yeah, as expected. And then ikai means one time. So one time, kaisan, let's disperse. So often you'll see when you have a kind of meeting, and then like in a game, they meet up, and they're like, okay, let's split up. That would be, all right, kaisan. So she's saying, let's split up. Ikai is just one time. So she's actually kind of referring here that they're going to meet again. Just for the time being, let's split up. Now, in the English translation, she says, you know, you're right. Let's get out of here. This is probably a bad thing for me to stick around.
またね。
No, don't go. So she says, matane, bye-bye. So matane means see you later. Now, in the English translation, they said, nice meeting you, so that's a little bit different. That'd be hajimemashite. But she's saying, bye-bye, see you again later. Now, this is an interesting phrase that I'm going to just have a quick little look at. Mata ne means goodbye, see you later. Mata means again, and then ne means right. So she's saying, again, right? matane, so it means see you again later. Now, often students of Japanese will use sayonara because that's a word they may have seen in a film or a textbook or whatever, but this word is actually much less commonly used, sayonara. It means farewell for a long time, maybe forever, or at least for an extended period of time, quite an extended period. Sayonara means farewell, whereas goodbye is more matane, or jane, or even jane matane, right? It's the both. Jane means well, or matane means again, so it's the same meaning really, jane matane, or ja matane. Really common to say see you later. So this is a much more common expression for you to use with your friends or people on the same level as you. Put the sword on the ground slowly. So ken, your sword, or jimen ni. Jimen is the ground, so on the ground, jimen ni, oke, put it. Yukkuri, slowly. Now, in the game translation, they just say sword on the ground, so they drop the put and the slowly and just say sword on the ground. So the new words we have here is jimen for ground, so ji is kind of dirt, and then men is the surface, so the ground surface, the ground, and then oku here is to place. Okay, so we've cut a little bit, and so now Cloud has been continually being pursued by more soldiers after killing a bunch, and now we have some interesting bits of language. So one of the guards says, Fukuro no nezumi da. This is an interesting expression. Fukuro means a bag, nezumi means like a rat or a mouse. So he's saying a rat in a bag, you're a rat in a bag. Now, this expression in Japanese means to be trapped, right? We've trapped you, a rat in a bag. I've never heard this expression in English, so I don't know if you use it, but for me, I've never used rat in a bag as an expression. However, the English translation, end of the line, punk, now that's a much more common expression to say. That's it. You got nowhere to go. End of the line, punk. So I think that's definitely where the translator's gone here, using the same kind of expression, but just saying you're trapped. Then the next one here is quite difficult. We have tekozuru. So this means to have trouble with something. Tekozuru. Now, tekozurasete means to make someone have trouble. And then this yagatte means that you have disdain towards a person's actions. So tekozurase, to make me have trouble, yagatte, how dare you, right? So he's showing that he's kind of annoyed that they've had to chase him so much. Now, in the English translation, he said, I'm going to enjoy this. So kind of similar, actually. It's showing that he's got this kind of pent-up frustration towards Cloud, and he's looking forward to finishing it. Corner him. Oitsumero. So, o, as we saw previously, means to chase, and then tsumeru actually means to kind of squish in, right? You squish into a train or you squish into a jar, that's this tsumeru. So oitsumero means to kind of corner someone, right? You're chasing and pushing them into kind of against a wall. So, corner him. And then nigasuna. So nigasu actually means to let escape. Nigeru, if you remember, means to escape. Nigasu means to let something escape. So then we have the na saying don't, nigasuna, don't let him escape. So the only difference here with the English translation and the literal is just they say move in instead of corner him. So one of the guards says, this is Sector 8, Unit 2. The man is surrounded. From here on, we'll secure him. So, Hachibangai, that is Sector 8. And then we have KB Nihan. So, KB is the security, and then Nihan is Group 2. So it's like Unit 2, Security Group 2, Unit 2. And then Otoko o oitsumeta. Otoko is the man. Oitsumeru means to corner, so we've cornered the man. Kore yori, from here, kakuho suru. We will secure. Kakuho, to secure. So the only real difference here is just the use of the language. Headquarters, they don't say that in Japanese. Target is surrounded instead of man is surrounded, otoko. And then we have moving to secure rather than from here, we will secure, which is really the same thing. And then last we have a kind of interesting sentence. It doesn't have any new language, but it's kind of hinting at something. One of the guards sees Cloud, and actually he sees his sword, and he says, Oi, sono ken wa? So hey, that sword, what? Now that's interesting. So the guard seems to be remembering Cloud by his sword. Okay. Is he remembering Cloud or is he remembering someone else? Oh, I don't know. Well, Cloud did work with the soldier for a while, but I don't know. But he's clearly remembering him, or to some degree, his sword. Now, in the English version, he actually says, wait, I know that. That what? We don't know. He doesn't say. It could have been his hair. Hey, we remember that spiky hair. He could have been that flower. Hey, I know that flower. She gave it to me too. We don't know what he's talking about in English, but in Japanese, it's very clear. He's talking about the sword. He remembers that sword. And Cloud freaks out. He has this kind of brain freak out. This is really interesting. So here, the sword, the connection with the sword being remembered is causing him to have kind of mental problems. Okay, it's very interesting, very, very kind of teasing at things to happen. I love it, very interesting. Okay, so moving on to the review for this episode, we have Genkaku, a hallucination or illusion. Daremo, anyone or no one. Daremo, sae mo, even. Sae mo. Hana, a flower. Hana, dozo. Here you are, dozo. Ore. So this is thanks or a gift. Oihara or oibara. This is to drive away or to scare off. Oihara. Nanno? What kind of? What sort? Nanno? Hanashi. A talk, subject, conversation. Hanashi. Ja. Well, then. Ja. Deai. So here is the meeting. Deai. Kinen. So a celebration or a memory or a memento. Kinen. Ikura. So how much? Ikura. Iru. To need. Iru. Nedan. The cost or the price. Nedan. Aite. So here it's kind of the partner, the company, or the other party. Aite. Tada. Free. Tada. Ya. So remember, this is softening the sentence. Iya. It's okay. Ya. Hana kotoba. So the symbolism of flowers, flowery language. Hana kotoba. Saikai. So meeting again or a reunion. Saikai. Keikoku. So a warning or advice. Keikoku. Shite oku. So to do something for later, to do something in advance. Keikoku shite oku. Let's give you a warning in advance. Tsioi. So strong. Tsioi. Kanji. So here it's feeling or impression. Not kanji, the writing, but kanji, the feeling or impression. Odoshi. So a threat. Odoshi. Kusuru. So to yield into something. Kusuru. Kawaii. Scary. Kawaii. Kawaii. Onisan. An older brother or kind of a young man. Onisan. Ni kuru. So to come to do something. Ni kuru. Toka. So things like, something like. Toka. Nai, nai. No, it doesn't exist. No way. Nai, nai. Soyu. So like that sort of. Soyu. Shinakute ii. You don't have to. Shinakute ii. Konya. Tonight. Konya. Mise jimai. So to close up shop. Mise jimai. Buki. So the weapons. Buki. Yappari. So after all or as expected. Yappari. Or yappa. Ikkai. So one time, for once. Ikkai. Kaisan. Split up. Disperse. Break up. Kaisan. Mata ne. Bye bye. Mata ne. Jimen. So the ground, the surface. Jimen. Oku. So to place something. Oku. Fukuro no nezumi. A rat in a bag. Fukuro no nezumi. To be trapped. Tekozuru. So tekozuru means to have trouble doing something. Tekozuru. Oitsumeru. So to corner, to chase, to corner someone. Oitsumeru. Nigasu. To let someone escape. Nigasu. Han. So here, the group, the party, the unit. Han. Otoko. So a male, a man. Otoko. Kore yori. So from here on. Kore yori. Okay, that's it for the review. Good luck, everyone. Let's get on to the quiz.
"お前には誰も守れない」
お花どうぞ。じゃあ出会いを記念して。 値段は相手見て決めるの。あなたはただでいいや。花言葉は再会。
あんたも今夜は店じまいして。
やっぱり一回解散。またね。
剣を地面に置け。ゆっくり。
Yay, congratulations! You have now learnt almost 600 new words. So congratulations everyone, I hope you did well on the quiz. Please let me know how the episode was, how you went on the quiz, how many new words you learnt in the comments sections below. I love seeing how you guys go, kind of seeing your progress. I remember most of your names, so kind of remembering, you know, who does well, who had a tough time. It's quite interesting for me. So thank you very much for all of your comments, and also a huge thank you to all of the supporters on Patreon. So it's been absolutely amazing with all the support that this channel has been getting so far, and only, you know, under 3 months the support that the channel's gotten already. So thank you so much for that. But even more than that, thank you so much for the Discord. It is so fantastic having everyone active on the Discord, talking about stuff, sharing your opinions, sharing things about video games, learning Japanese, getting all these interesting little informations about, you know, kind of Japanese questions and different games and stuff. It's been so interesting. So thank you so much for that. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much. Please make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I shall see you again next time. See ya.